Ooh,
Oh, you brought string cheese to a podcast fight?
Yeah.
Oh man, that's not fair. I didn't know food was allowed. I keep why yeah why are we limiting this just to liquor? What the hell? Why do we think to get food
because
involved?
then we'd be like,
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, exactly. No.
I didn't say you should eat porridge or hot soup on the podcast, but string cheese is a pretty safe bet.
it's true.
Damn it, outsmarted by Kevin again. All right,
Oh,
so
thank
welcome. All right, so welcome to this is still episode 4. This is what we're gonna keep calling this episode 4, but it's gonna be episode 4, part B, because in a way to circumvent that whole we can't talk for under an hour for some strange goddamn reason. We're just gonna like break this one up and see if that works better. By the way, I want to. Okay. However, if part B runs runs like an hour and a half again, I don't know what. At that point, I don't know what to do. I'm just gonna resign to the fact that each episode should just be 5 hours long and that's it. Quantity over quality is gonna be the main message of our podcast.
Has a lot of free time.
Just
on
think
his
of us as the morning talk show.
All right.
And we're a very short morning talk show.
Right, that nobody watches. So I wanted to kind of finish up the topic that I brought up at the end of part A, and then we can hopefully move off politics unless someone has anything else to add. So I mentioned the guy who ran against Trump in 2016. That actually there was some weird scenario where he could have become president by winning one state. So I had to do quickly some research again just to catch myself up on what I was talking about. The guy's name is Evan McMullen. He was running in Utah, and he was running as an independent, but he's pretty much a Republican. He's very right-wing leaning. So in Utah, and this is interesting because I had to dig up an old article from 538, and it's really kind of eerie reading this because this is when they were like, well, it doesn't really matter because Hillary Clinton is going to win this. We're giving her an 87% chance, and Trump is a joke, and ha ha ha, let's just get this over with. They were saying that.
Remember those days?
Yeah, that was the good. Yeah, exactly, the good old days. Yeah, remember Obama? That was great. So Evan McMullen is an CIA officer, supposedly a guy that has a pretty respectable background in service to this country, and he always was and still is very anti-Trump. He's very outspoken against them.
I'm sorry, I'm watching Kevin eat his string cheese.
Damn it, take this seriously. And okay.
I'm so sorry. Go on.
No, I was.
Ex-CIA agent.
I know. I switched back right in time to see like Kevin slurping up cheese like it was spaghetti. Thank you for demonstrating why food is not allowed on this podcast.
Go ahead. I'm going to mute.
I don't think I can eat. I don't think I can eat for a while anyway. Okay, so just to wrap up this horrible story, Evan McMullen was. You forgot to mute your mic, by the way. You guys understand I spent hours editing this, and yet you don't care that you're making my job so much harder right now.
Love you, Skippy.
I can't tell if Kevin is laughing or having a heart attack, but either way.
Kevin, here, look, I'm going to put this little piece of paper over.
Oh my God, such good belly laughs right there.
Oh my God. Okay, I'm glad you can laugh about what happened in 2016. You're pretty much the only one.
What were you saying, Skippy? I'm sorry.
I don't know. Where did I lose you?
Somewhere about like some guy from Utah. I don't know.
Okay, so long story short, there's a guy named Evan McMullen who was running in Utah. He was doing pretty well in the polls. And there was a weird scenario where he actually had like a 1% chance of becoming president. And the way that was going to work was that he was going to steal enough electoral votes from the split between Clinton and Trump, because neither one was popular for their own specific reasons, where that would deadlock the Electoral College. And if that happened, it would then go to the House to decide who the president would be. According to I want to say the 12th Amendment, if the Electoral College is locked, the House gets to pick the president. So what happens is each of the state's representatives basically vote for who the next president will be. The names are sent in and they vote. And because the House was heavily controlled by the Republicans, there was a good chance that they would not want Trump in office. So they actually would have probably picked McMullen. So he could have won one state and become president, which actually would have been more insane than Trump becoming president. Now, obviously none of that happened, but I just wanted to give you the background.
More insane, though?
You have the technology, so to speak. you know, like I feel like I'm like the $6 million man. We have the technology. Just go to the popular vote. I mean, the electoral vote is based on like situation that was 200 years ago. Same
Yes.
with like the right to
Yes.
bear arms. Yeah,
Yes,
yes,
the electoral vote needs to die. I absolutely. It is such an old, useless thing. It's kind of like daylight savings time. It was created by old white racist men. It needs to be abolished. Horrible.
yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so I think that's it for politics. I think we're done. Hey guys, how was your halftime show?
It was good.
Yeah, did you do a little dance, sing a little song in the bathroom?
Yeah, I did. I dropped the kids off at the pool, and I'm good to go. So
All right. Oh, God damn it. Hey, so you know what I realized? One of the things we never talk about because we talk about like movies and games and video games and all this other stuff. We never brought up comic books. Does anybody here actually still read comic books by any chance?
No.
Why did it stop?
don't so much. I don't that much. I've gotten a couple in recent years, but that's because I kind of got my daughter hooked on them. So she's been reading comic books, and when I'm there, I've been like, oh, you know what, this looks good. But they've just been small little issues based on like upcoming Marvel movies. So I still wouldn't count that as I'm reading comic books, but they're expensive now.
Are they really?
Like,
Wait, are comic
They
books
were-
no longer? Are they
$4
no longer
a
$1?
book.
$4? Oh my God! I remember when
Yeah.
comics were $1.95, and then Image Comics came out, and they were charging something like $2.50, and I was like, this is outrageous! Are you kidding
No,
me?
And so after I'm done, and I'd rather get them for my kid because she's reading the comics.
What does she read?
And not looking at a screen. She likes Captain Marvel, Elektra, something Fathom, which is more of an independent thing. X-23, like good violent stuff, but that any 10-year-old
All these
would be
girly comic books, pff, whatever,
Yeah,
man.
exactly.
Does she read any real manly comic books like Captain America or Spider-Man or I'm gonna get kicked in the nuts later by my wife?
Teaching her the proper way to eviscerate any particular person, I think. But no, like after I've bought her comics, I don't have any money for my own, so I'm kind of like, well, fuck it. So,
But you
But,
buy her actual physical copies, not the digital stuff, right?
correct.
Yeah, see, I
Yes.
can't read the digital stuff. I think I tried subscribing to a couple of things digitally, and I don't understand how anybody can read. I think it's cool that they offer that option, and I know to some people it's the only option because they may not have comic book stores around anymore because there's a lot less of them around. So it's cool that people can still be exposed to it, but I tried reading comic books whether on a tablet or on my phone, and it's impossible. Like I need to maybe because that's how I grew up, and I'm just not used to it. But it's just so awkward to try to read something that has pictures in it on my screen. It's different than like reading a book like on my Kindle or whatever. I can do that without any problem. But a comic book, I need to hold the issue. I can't like pan around the page with my finger. That's just really weird.
No, I could understand that. And it's funny because I'm the opposite with books. I gave up like physical books a long time ago. Like I was one of the first early adopters of ebooks. I remember probably like 20 years ago, dating myself here. I bought the Rocket ebook.
Ooh,
Yes,
I
yes.
really
It's the first ebooks to the point where when I was on a plane, when I would get on a plane and I would have this, people would be like, whoever was sitting next to me would be like, "Oh, what are you doing? What is that?" And I'm like, "It's an ebook." And they're like, "What's in a book?"
is that
You know, and
Spanish?
I'm
Is that Spanish for
Exactly. I'm
book?
like, no, it's an electronic book. And I'm like, on this device, which has a whopping 16 meg, I have like 500-page books. And they're like, oh,
20 years ago, 16 meg.
magic.
Is that real?
When did the Rocket? I think it came out in 1997. And of course, I'm an early adopter. Hold on. Well, let me see. Rocket ebook. Let me look it up.
Yeah, I'm like you. I actually backed away a little bit from
Like,
reading for a couple of years. Yeah, once digital readers became a thing, I don't actually. I'm sorry, I said Kindle, but I don't have a Kindle. I have a Kobo. My family got that for me as a gift, and I got heavily back into reading because of that thing. I love it. The fact that
yeah.
I just throw this little tiny tablet, that like you can't break it if you try, and and the battery lasts forever, and just take it with you and take any number of books with you anywhere you go. It's phenomenal. The same thing when I'm reading. Like honestly, if I'm on the couch, like it's just so convenient. The thing doesn't weigh anything. You just hold this little thing and you just read books. I love it.
But
I started reading so much more because of that.
now
Again.
you have to graduate to audiobooks. Best
No,
thing ever.
I can't. No, fucking, I can't do
Yeah.
those because I can't deal with whoever's voice. So I have shit. I don't remember
I thought you
the
dropped
Best
it.
thing ever.
ebook.
I thought you
I
dropped the kids off at the
also
pool.
use an app called FB Reader, which is nice because I throw my books on Google Play, and then it syncs between my phone and my tablet and my ebook reader. My ebook reader is Android based, so whatever I'm using, I can read whatever book I'm reading. I can't deal with the audiobooks, and I can see how they could be
I
appealing.
love them.
Oh, no, no, no. I've tried them a couple of times, and it's always like, I am reading this ebook, and this is my accent, and it's absolutely horrible. And like 30 seconds into it, I'm like, oh my fucking God, I'm about to like take an ice pick to my eardrums, and I can't do it. So
I've had most of the books that I've listened to are good to awesome. The actors or the reader does a very good job splitting the characters up or whatever. There was one series that when I first heard it, I was like, I can't stand this person's voice. Oh my God, what am I going to do? I just bought this. So then after a while, you do get used to it.
I'm sorry, unless Patrick Stewart is reading every ebook, I'm not interested.
My question is, how long did you practice that amazing accent before releasing it into this podcast? It sounded very genuine. I thought there was another person in the room, possibly British. So I'm actually somewhere in between you guys. I like audiobooks for what they are. Because I from time to time had longer commutes. I do enjoy listening to them. However, part A of that is I do kind of agree with Jerry where a bad reader can really ruin the experience. But I mean, there's nothing much you can do about that. But my only real problem with that is people who say they read a lot when they listen to audiobooks. I have a friend who likes to sound very intellectual, and every time he will be like, I read like 7 books last month about blah 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 and this and this and this and this. And what he means is he listened to them on tape as he was driving.
Yeah,
I call bullshit to
Yes,
you. Who gives a
yes.
fuck? I got the content the same as you did.
No, and I
No,
will tell you what. No,
I
I
feel
disagree.
it's
I completely disagree. If you
that's
listen to
different.
audio,
Totally wrong.
no,
Disagree.
if you listen to audiobooks, you are not reading, and I will tell you why. Because
That's bullshit.
when you are reading a
Same
book,
exact content.
I disagree.
No,
When
no,
you're
you're
reading a book,
consuming the same content, but you're doing it in a very different way.
yes, thank you. That is like saying I saw the movie about the book, so that counts as reading the book.
No, it isn't.
It absolutely does.
No, it is not.
Same
Yes.
thing.
I disagree with you 100%.
2 against 1. That's what we got. 3 people in this
We
podcast.
win.
We win the Super Bowl.
I'll allow that voting mechanic, but
So I think
how can you say that? It is not a change
I will
in
tell you why.
content or
It's very
interpretation.
different. It's very different. I feel the brain processing that you're using is very different. And honestly, I don't have the scientific. I couldn't quote you the scientific reasoning to back that up, but it's definitely different.
You know
I
what's
will.
funny? I agree with you. It is a different.
That was easy.
No, hold on. It is a different brain process. And actually, so in my particular situation, I get a lot of eye strain reading for a long period of time. And like my eyes start to blur out, and I'm like, I can't focus on this page anymore. So
We
to
should
me,
masturbate less. Sorry.
so to
No.
me, I'm
That's not
consuming
an
the
option.
content instead of reading a hard copy book,
Yeah.
because eye strain limits the time and whatever.
There's
We're
nothing
not
wrong.
criticizing you for it. We're
Yes.
just saying, don't say, I read 6 books last month. You could say, I listened to 6 books.
When somebody says,
But
"Hey,
say
I listened to
saying,
Macbeth last week," it's like, okay, hey, we can totally talk about it.
yeah.
I read it, you listened to it, we can discuss the material in it. That's fine. But yes, when you say I read it, but you listen to it, it's not the same thing. And for me, one of the biggest
That
reasons
is such a crazy argument that
no,
this is even different.
because when you're when I read a book, I guess the simplest way I can explain it is you almost have a voice inside your head as you're reading it, and you're building this whole thing in your own head. When you're hearing
And it's
somebody else's voice and somebody else's accentuate certain words and bring their own emotion into it, that changes the way you visualize the story. It's no longer your brain sort of like
yes.
like painting what you're reading. It's somebody else, and
And
that is a different experience.
I can give you a specific
Have you tried
example of
doing both on one
it's
book and then coming up with two different experiences?
No, but that is actually a very good point. I have not done that.
I grew up reading Terry Brooks, like the Sword of Shannara books, and I believe in the audiobook he pronounces, and this is like a kind of a silly example, but it I think it proves what Skippy was saying. He pronounces it Shannara or something like that, but you come up with your own voices for the people, your own
Yes.
pronunciations of however that word is, and that becomes yours. That's yours internally. You built that. You built this world. You have those images. When someone else is telling you it, it's a little bit different.
Well, hold
And
on.
we're
I
not.
agree.
But
Yes,
but
I
hold
agree with
on.
that
Like,
completely.
I understand what you're talking about, because there's a lot of games where books, sorry, where so I'm listening primarily, right? And then I'll go look up some lore online or something, and I have no idea how something is spelled. So I'm like, how the fuck do I search for this character? Like, how is it spelled? So you're right. I'm not familiar with what is it? The linguistic version of it. I agree. There's two separate parts of the brain that interpret these things. But at the end of the day, you're either listening to exactly the same thing as you might be seeing, like the two sides of the coin is to see the words and then interpret that, or to hear it and interpret that. But you still visually see the exact same thing.
But it doesn't
Yeah,
matter. But
it's still
interpretation
two
is what matters.
different.
Also, he's also talking about, for example, let's say you're reading a dialogue between two characters. In your mind, you assign personalities where in it goes even the way they talk, the mannerisms they talk, the voice that they have. You create all this in your head. When you're hearing somebody say it, they're doing it for you.
I can understand that.
It's different. Even to the emotion behind the speech, it's different.
And
I have to
even
agree
with
with that. I just think, in my particular case, I like to listen to it over
Oh,
well,
the.
there's nothing wrong with that. I listen to audiobooks all the time. I enjoy listening to audiobooks. I just think it's a different experience than from reading it. I legitimately enjoy reading. Like audiobooks is something I do. I'll admit, like I do it more because I'll do it again, when I'm commuting or I can't actually physically read a book. But the act of actually reading, like sitting down and opening up an actual book and reading the words, is something I legitimately enjoy. I
but
think audiobooks is something I do out of
honestly,
necessity more, but that's different. I get it. That's not what you're saying.
Yeah.
I feel that actually engages different aspects of the brain, which you may, based on how you function, you may or may not retain content better. Like me personally, if I'm taking notes on something, and I've been doing that more recently with my whole job aspect, I've kind of been taking courses on like other programming languages and everything, and I'm consuming this data. Someone's telling me this, but I feel like I have to write it down and read it back personally to like better absorb it. You know what I mean? So like someone telling me something, someone reading a book to me is giving me, I'm retaining like 50% of it. If I'm reading it, I'm retaining 80% of it. If I'm like writing it, I'm retaining 90% of it, if that makes sense.
No, I'm the
Do you
same
know
way,
what
but
I mean?
that's because I'm just a visual person. Yeah, if I write,
Right.
if I actually see the words, I'll retain them better than hearing them. Yeah.
Right.
It's
That
so funny because I would say I'm a visual person, but here the intake via audio is better for my visual mind than reading letters.
I'll put it to this way: if you described the way you ate that cheese, I would have been like, yeah, that sounds pretty cool. But the fact that we saw you eat that string cheese basically sent everyone into convulsions. So there you
And
go.
it's funny, I'm going to like I apologize for the nerdism here, but I wonder how like this kind of stuff affects the quote unquote younger generation who's growing up on YouTube and where like
They're
everything is visual.
they're eating
Like
Tide Pods. I would say it's not affecting them well.
that's probably pretty accurate. But no, like I wonder that like who was it you Skippy that was like, oh my god, imagine if we had this shit when we were kids. Like said someone said that
Yeah,
to
I said
me.
that today.
Oh,
Oh,
I
that
say that all
you?
the time. Like,
No,
thank
but
God we
like
didn't have Facebook or anything when we were kids. Good God.
yeah, like I
Smartphones.
wonder like I'd love to take the same person and grow them 20, 30, 40, whatever, however different it is, years apart from where we are now with like YouTube and like cell phones and like the internet ubiquitous at like any point where like and even like I do that with my own kid. She'll be like, hey, what's like X, Y, or Z? And we're like, fucking ask Google. Like,
Remember
all
when
you
we
have
were
to
kids
say,
and how
hey,
exciting it was to
Google,
find porn in
what's
someone's
X,
garbage when you
X?
riding your bike around the block?
Yeah, exactly.
I I never did that. I'm sorry.
Well, you
Like,
certainly didn't look it up on the internet.
No, but that would have been such a better way to spend my younger years.
I mean,
I had my imagination.
Oh.
the basically like in my house, and I know Skippy would disapprove of this, but like the only room where you can't ask Google something is the bathroom. And,
That's
like
the only place I would want to ask Google anything. I'd be
exactly.
oh my,
Hey,
I'd be like, hey Google,
what's
is this an okay color?
yeah, exactly. And like it's a totally different paradigm that these kids are growing up in these days, and I almost apologize for dating myself, but the name of this podcast is Old Men Yell at Podcast, so I feel like I'm doing exactly what I'm supposed to. I'm totally on brand here.
Oh yeah, we're
Uh,
bitching about the young people and how
yeah,
they totally can't relate to anything that we're talking about.
it's like my own father sent me a picture like last week of a payphone. He was like, "What the fuck is this?" I'm like, "I know."
Yeah,
So
someone I work with was telling me that they were driving around here because there's still remnants of the old days around where I live, and they were driving around and their kid all of a sudden starts like pulling on their sleeve and go, "What the hell is that?" And they're like, "It's a phone booth," and they're like, "Wait,
you dumb
what?"
fuck.
And they're like, "Well, what? Wait, what do you mean a phone
Didn't you
booth? Like
see
like
the
what's in there?"
Matrix?
Yeah, and they're like, you used to have to go into those to make phone calls, and they're just like, wait, they had booths and they had like iPhones inside them, and they're like, oh, good
Where
lord,
the
no.
fuck do you think Clark Kent turns into Superman? You
Yeah.
dumb fuck.
And they're
I
like,
was
oh
thinking
god, they're like,
Deadpool.
please
Didn't you
just
see the
take your
Deadpool
Xanax
trailer?
and shut the fuck up. But anyway, this whole thing started with I was talking about comic books.
Oh yeah, comic books even before
Yeah,
that.
I just no, but I realized that. So I have ever since I was a kid. I'm sorry, not ever since I was a kid. Well, I used to collect comics when I was a kid religiously, and then since I've moved out of my parents' house last weekend, no, years ago, I've had like these boxes that travel with me everywhere that has my old comic
Yes.
books in it, and once in a while I open them up and I go, why did I ever give this up? This stuff is incredible. You just have like all this amazing artwork and stories and all this kind of crap. And I want to get back into it, but you're right. I don't think I have the time, and B, I don't think I have the money to get back into comic books anymore, which is a shame. It's a really wonderful medium that I've totally neglected for a couple of decades now.
And what's funny is when I got into comic books in high school and later, it was Japanese stuff and it was hard to get stuff. So I actually spent a lot of money back then, not the dollar or whatever it was, like $5 for a graphic novel or $10 or $15 for a graphic novel, like the Alita Battle Angel.
Yeah, that stuff was great. And then you see weird reference that, like, for example, today I was just like shuffling through some stuff and it led me down this rabbit hole of research and Google and stuff. Have you guys ever read a comic called Scud, the Disposable Assassin?
No.
Okay, this is.
I think so.
I will let you borrow this if you don't have it. So it was this great comic book that ran, I think, in the early 2000s. The premise was really basic. It was an indie comic book, but it was fairly popular. It was this sort of like futuristic alternate reality where these robotic assassins were sold in vending machines, and you buy an assassin and you tell it who to kill, and it kills your target, and then it self-destructs. So the thing is, it was one of the first things that had to do with sort of like robots and computers becoming self-aware, because what happens is one of these assassins accidentally walks by like a mirror and it sees like a sticker on its side that says like once the assassination is complete, this unit will self-destruct, and it becomes self-aware, and it's like, holy shit, it doesn't want to die. So what it does is when it finds its target, it does everything short of killing it, and then it sort of like hurts it enough where it puts it in a coma, and then this thing is in the hospital, and in order to pay its hospital bills, it has to like do like independent contract, like assassination contracts.
Wait, so it's basically like a Mr. Meeseeks assassin.
Okay, wow. You are way ahead of me, because damn it, I had this whole thing, but holy shit, that is really impressive. Hold on. Because it was written by a guy named Rob Schrab, who is a comedian and a writer, and he did a bunch of things. He is really close friends with Dan Harmon and Justin Roiland, who years later at a Comic-Con, I was going to say, hey, guess which character on Rick and Morty was actually influenced by Scud this what? Fuck you, Jerry. God damn it.
Wow.
It's like you start talking about someone.
Dude,
that sounds like
the fact that you made that leap so instantly, holy shit, that is really impressive. While drinking. Good for you.
Man, it's like fucking Rick and Morty.
He only had beer.
But that's so great. So I found out that like Rob Schrab and Dan Harmon apparently what's that?
I'm on what is it? Yeah, like Coke and whiskey now.
Okay. So yeah, basically, so Rob Schrab worked with Dan Harmon, and Rob Schrab actually helped write and direct a couple of episodes of Community, which was a Dan Harmon show. And in one of the episodes, there's actually a Scud poster hanging in the background of the classroom. And it pops up in a few Dan Harmon projects, but yes, when they designed Mr. Meeseeks, it was actually influenced by Scud, the Disposable Assassin. God, awesome. I am legitimately impressed. Holy shit. Wow. I'm blown away. I'm blown away that you just got there immediately. You just saved us like this. I think this may go under an hour just because you got to the point of my story.
Best segment ever.
Yeah, I thought that was pretty damn cool.
So
okay.
Let's move on to Game Corner.
Now what do we talk about?
Well, I don't know, but I think you can read my mind and you know what I want to talk about.
And Tainted Grail.
Yeah, I wanted to ask. You guys mentioned. I'm assuming these are both board games, right?
Yeah, so Tainted Grail is, and I think it's like a recent Kickstarter that ended. So Tainted Grail, had I recently gotten a job, which I didn't, I would have absolutely bought this game immediately. It just seems like.
How much is it?
I don't know. It doesn't matter. If
it's like $100, that's but if it's like a $30-$40 board game, I mean.
No. It's probably like, you know what? I don't know. I'll pull it up on the what is that thing the kids use? The interwebs.
This isn't the board game that I mentioned that set some Kickstarter record, was it?
I don't know. It sold a whole fuck ton of sales, I think. Like,
I can't even find it.
here, hold on, let me put. Yeah, here it is on Kickstarter.
Yeah, I want to mention again, nothing
For-
makes for more enticing podcasting than three old men Googling.
Yeah, just short of 42,000 backers. It made
That's it. I think that's it. I think that was the biggest.
£5,000 or £5 million. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I was gonna say
Whatever.
5,000 pounds is not that much.
Bucks.
Whoa, swimming.
It's just like when I looked at it, the game itself looks amazing. The mechanics of it, like there's Gloomhaven, and this is like Gloomhaven plus plus. I don't know. It just looks amazing, and I want to own this fucking thing.
Is this one of those things that you can play by yourself? I've noticed, by the way, a lot more
I
of
think
those games
so.
popping up that are for 1 to 4 players.
4 players, and it's funny because I have a friend of mine. He plays a lot of stuff by himself, and I'm like, why do you do that? Like the whole multiplayer aspect of it is what makes playing games fun. And he's like, well, you know what? If I have no one to play with at that particular moment, and like then at least I'm playing the game. And it's funny
That
because
reminds me of one of your other friends, a much neglected one in North Carolina.
yeah. Well, I mean myself too. Like I was just playing Anthem, and you guys are like saying, hey, I'm playing with. If I'm not playing with you guys, I don't want to play with some random, 12-year-old fucktard somewhere. And so I'm going to go into private mode and play myself. And I'm like, it's the same way with a board game. If I'm not playing it with someone that I really want to play with, I'll play it with myself. I recently picked up the what is it, the Lord of the Rings card game, and that's like 1 to 2 or 1 to 4 players, depending on how many versions of how many copies of the game you picked up. And when you play it by yourself, it's a good strategy game by yourself. It's not bad.
I've legitimately never played a board game that you can play by yourself, but I'm kind of curious. Well, I don't know. I'm curious to try, but there's also some weird, like almost like a stigma with it. Like I can't picture myself laying out a board game and playing it by myself. I don't know whether because it's some weird like sadness factor.
But you know what? It's funny because I used to be the same thing with going to movies. You have to go to movies with someone.
Oh,
and
that's so sad.
I mean, and for our listener, like SKippy and I, our first date was to Avengers. We saw the first Avengers movie together. Although he did bring someone else along in case I was a horrible murderer, and I turned out I wasn't, so it was good. But
They took our gerbs.
So fuck you. So at least I did my homework and start drinking before the whole thing. But anyway, yeah, no, it's like my wife was like, why not just go to the movie and enjoy it enjoy the movie for itself? And I was like, you know what, this isn't bad. So
your wife wanted to get you out of the house. I got it. Yeah, she was like, Hey Jerry, why don't you go away for a few hours and I'll stay here? That sounds like a plan, right? And you're like, yeah, that sounds like an adventure. Let me try that.
Man, I've never had a problem going to a movie by myself.
I can't do it. It's just like those people that you see in a restaurant alone. I just feel so sad for them.
You're in a movie. It's dark. Who gives a fuck?
It's actually not bad. And
I can't tell you why it's weird. It just is for me.
I used to think that like the whole point of going to the movie is to be like, whoa, wasn't that an awesome scene and this and that? And no, you just enjoy the movie for what it is. And the same thing with the games. You can enjoy them for themselves and enjoy the single player aspect of it. And
exactly.
Then the player aspect of it is a completely different experience that you enjoy. So and they're very, very different things. So like it's funny because I was talking to a gaming friend of mine who I recently met around here, and he was like, "Oh, you have Mission to Mars? Terraforming Mars." And I was like, "Yeah, it's an amazing game. I love playing it. And he basically went out and bought that and played it by himself. And I have never.
You can play Terraforming Mars by yourself?
Yeah, you
Yes,
can.
I didn't know.
you
Okay.
you have like 14 generations to get to a certain terraform rating or whatnot.
Oh, okay. So there's basically a ceiling that you have to hit before.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
But I had never played it, and I was like, I can't imagine that being enjoyable because the whole point of it is like you're playing it against someone else, and like what are they doing, and are they going to fuck you, and how are they doing it? And he like sat there and he started playing the game, and then he went out and bought all the expansions, and he was playing this whole thing, playing it solo before he came here and played it with me, and he was like, wow, that's like a completely different experience. And it's like that kind of taught me that it's okay to play with yourself.
So this
so
all
much
sounds,
setup for that.
yeah.
I think
That was
15 minutes.
that was the longest setup for a masturbation joke ever.
So, it's a different experience is what I'm saying.
I was gonna say that yes, this whole playing board game by yourself pretty much sounds like taking Ambien and jerking off. Like you basically try to because you win every time, and yeah, that's one of the best jokes from 40-Year-Old Virgin ever, by the way. Wait, so okay, so I understand I totally get what you're saying, and okay, I promise that at some point I will try it out because I do really like board games, and the experience really is very different from something like video games, which of course you play by yourself all the time. But okay, fine, I'll try it. But do you know anything about Tainted Grail as far as playing it, or does it just look just like an epic game from what you've seen?
It just looks like an amazing game from what I've seen, and
It looks
from
amazing.
the sheer like backing of it, it just looks awesome.
And you can't. And this is one of the ones you can play by yourself.
Yeah, it's a 1 to 3. Like Gloomhaven, you could effectively play by yourself because it's you versus the AI. Even if you're playing with 2, 3, 4 players, you're still playing versus the AI. They have a set AI which behaves in a specific way. So
It's certainly not AI. It's just a logical
Well, right. Well,
monster steps.
a artificial AI in the sense of these are the rules that you play that the monsters take or whatnot.
Right.
Okay, and then you also mentioned Vast on here. What's the deal with Vast?
So Vast is, and it's I've never played it. Neither have I played Root, but they look.
Do you want to mention any games you have played?
Fuck you. No. These are interesting games where so Vast and Root are
okay, but are you planning to actually get them? Because if you're so interested in them, you should just spend the money and buy them.
Well, right now I don't have a job, so I can't
just send your kid to community college and have some fun with your life.
Yeah.
Or just do my approach and just keep not having kids.
So yeah, exactly. Seriously, you've got it right. Stop trying or whatnot. Do what Kevin and I did and just get the vasectomy and go for it. But
well, I don't know if Kevin wanted all of the world to know that he got a vasectomy, but okay, thank you, Jerry.
As long as I'm Kevin and not somebody else.
The magic of editing is you could always edit that out. Yeah. But no, serious.
Best thing ever.
I only edit out embarrassing things that I say about myself.
It's not embarrassing.
So Vast, tell me about Vast.
So it's like Vast and Root. I think they're done by the same company, whatever, the same person
I don't know anything about Root either.
But they're basically in Terraforming Mars, like we're playing corporations that are similar. I have a bonus of like if it's I don't know steel, I get +1, you get +1 for titanium. We're effectively the same thing, versions a little bit off. In Vast and Root, the mechanics of each role that you can play are vastly different.
Vast.
So,
Oh God, another pun.
Vast
no,
is rated
honestly,
512, but Root
I don't
is
think that
82.
Root
lot better.
came before.
No, it didn't.
But okay, maybe
200
I'm wrong.
2016 is Vast and 2018 is Root.
Okay, I'm sorry. I stand corrected. So maybe it is a pun, but they're like very different. Like in Root and everything they've seen about Root is that it's like one of the highest rated games anywhere. It's like in BoardGameGeeks.com. It's one of the top 10. It's just very different. So
Top
when you play
82.
at that,
I said it's rated number 82. And then you're like, it's rated one of the top 10.
I could be completely wrong.
In fact, you are.
Maybe he meant in his own top 10.
Oh,
Yeah.
There you go.
With some other top 10 that I was watching. But no, it's asymmetry.
He threw the scale upside down like we did with the movies, so it's in the top 20 if you look at that. Yeah, there we go.
So when you play as one character in the game, the experience when you play with another game character is very different. So like you can't just say I'm going to translate the gameplay from this person to this person. It's very different.
But what it sounds like, because Root is newer, what it sounds like is that fuck Vast, we should go out and buy Root instead.
Then go out and buy Root. I don't know. Like honestly, I haven't played either games. I'd like to. I just need to get the time and the people to play with it.
Yep, you need more friends.
Don't we all?
I have like 2 or 3 here that I can do that with, but
which is amazing.
Or wait, an amazing idea. If you two guys want to get together at one central location, which we might have access to, that would be an amazing idea.
Okay, well, while I look up airline tickets to where you are, right? I'm gonna go look up airline tickets.
We have a good third-party area where everyone can have easy access to, which we've mentioned many times before.
That's actually something I wanted to bring up after this, but right now we're going to take like just a really quick break, and then because we have 1 or 2 more things that I want to talk about, but I want to leave an entire uninterrupted section to it. So let's just take a quick break once again and get some refills, free up some space inside our bodies, and then we can come back and wrap up part B of episode 4. Yeah. Does that sound like a plan to everybody?
Yep.
Sounds like a plan.
All right, let's do it. Okay, so welcome back, everybody, for episode 4, part B. This is way too much podcasting in one day.
This is part B of part B because we're back from the first half of part B.
No, for B.
Oh, he's right.
We are the part B of 4B.
He's correct. This is
part B.
This is episode 4, part B, section 2. I can't keep track. This is very hard.
Subsection DOS.
Who thought this was a good idea?
I think it was Kevin.
Much more drinking.
Kevin.
Yes, way too much drinking. So, okay, I'm going to get right into this. We are right now, so it is about 5:30 on a Sunday, and we are, while we're doing this, we are missing even more in-game events happening in Anthem. And Anthem is what I wanted to discuss at the very end of this whole thing, because it has been the best part of 2019 so far for me.
On the day of the Super Bowl, we are anxious to get back to Anthem.
Fuck the Super Bowl. I don't give a shit. Anthem is everything I wanted and more. And in my typical fashion, I'm going to fire off a whole bunch of issues I have with the game so far. But wow, Anthem is phenomenal. This is going to be a huge hit for BioWare. I'm very happy for them. This is absolutely great. They promised the world and they have over-delivered. No, that's right. No one disagrees with me. That's right. Thank you, everybody, and we're going to end the episode right here. And
Well,
everybody have a great Super Bowl weekend.
I heard alcohol being poured, so
Oh, you guys
got
didn't
me.
remind
Okay.
me about the other commercial.
What other commercial?
So I don't know if this was Super Bowl, but there's some
Oh,
infamous Gillette commercial that is incredibly sexist and ridiculous, and it so apparently it had like over 500 million downvotes, and Google at
It,
some point it like reset to zero, and now it's back up to 1 point something million downvotes.
wait, are you talking about the ad that they ran? They did an ad a couple of months ago where they tried to address sexual harassment and a number of other misogynistic things that have to do with the workplace and society. And it was a whole thing where, like, it's not the best the men can get, it's men, something like the best men, no, men should be,
I didn't see it, so
men
I
should
don't
be
know.
better. It was trying to say that men need to do better. We have to do better in respect to our kids. We have to do better in respect to women. We have to be better people, and it's up to us. And it got an insane amount of both positive and negative feedback. But the thing is, the people that usually get pissed off are the ones that tend to be the most vocal. So the people that liked it are like, hey, this is cool. The people that were sort of like unaffected by it were like, all right, this is dumb, and they moved on with their lives. But then you have those really angry misogynists who are just like, how dare they? This is an attack on men. And they took it so personally, and they were just put like I am never shaving my face with Gillette again. I'm gonna go get my box cutter and shave with that for the rest of my life. Yeah, that'll show them. And it's just it's the usual
That's
shit.
so
Like whenever
that's
people
so
say like,
strange because you're from what I heard, it's funny. You're like saying that the men are like fuck this shit. I'm not ever using a
no,
Gillette
no, no,
razor
no, no,
again.
no, not the men, trolls and insecure pricks that I okay, a normal male did not respond to this in the way that you saw a lot of comments that were full of vitriol and hate and trying to play like the victim card, like this is an attack on me, and like no, it's not. It's
so
it's an
so
ad that came
Skippy,
out. Yes.
you're saying that I could still shave my balls with a Gillette razor, right?
Yeah, if you could save that for episode 5, part C, the one
Uh,
that's gonna have a video component to it, that'd be great.
okay, I will.
Jerry-scaping.
Good job.
We have something special for everybody today. That's right. Go to YouTube and anyway. So it's as usual. It's one of those things where a company. Well, the thing is, I can't even say that this is a company trying to necessarily try to be a better entity in the world. They're trying to capitalize on what's going on in the world right now, and they're doing it by sending out a positive message. The fact that they're trying to put a positive message out there is good. I'm not going to pretend like they have an actual interest in improving things. They just obviously want to, as I said, capitalize on it.
Capitalize on it.
Right. So anytime you put out a message and say, "Hey, why don't we just be better to one another?" You're ultimately going to have people that are going to come out, out of their sheds in the woods and are going to be
Fuck
like,
you. Why
"Don't
don't
tell me
like
what to do. This is
yeah,
America. I can do
typical
whatever."
Republican.
Oh,
Yeah,
wait,
exactly.
wait.
And
Are these the guys wearing MAGA hats?
yes, for the most
Yeah.
part, it's people who are just like, and then they came out, and then there was another company, a watch company, I don't remember the name of the watch company, and they made this ad to counter what Gillette did, and they put out these things and saying how great men are, and they're like, well, men are more, there's more men that do this, there's more men that like suffer from depression, there's more men that commit suicides, there's more
Oh
men that
God.
die in wars, and blah blah blah, and that's fine. And the rational people looked at the ad at the watch company and said, okay, yeah, that's fine. Men are great, women are great, we're all great, let's just be great to one another. Gillette wasn't saying that men are crap, they were just saying that we should take responsibility and make a
Well,
better world, and you're just supporting that message. But people just, they can't. They're like, don't tell me to be a better person, I should have the right to be an asshole. And they do have that right, but
MMGA.
it's funny because
Make men
you
great
bring
again.
up a
yeah.
good point about like statistics and statistic skewing, I guess. So
And
in that
third
case, like,
speech.
so what's the Fuck you. So what's the percentage of men versus the percentage of women that are in any particular statistic? So if they're saying more men, no. If they're saying
Well,
more men,
more men are
so
men than women. I will give you
Wait,
that.
the Mormons?
No,
What
there's
does
more.
this have to
oh
do
my
with
god.
this?
There's more men that are men than women that are men.
Okay, so let's
Yes, I
say
agree.
that there are
There, I think I've made my point.
okay. So like we're going to go with specific just generic numbers. If 100 men participate in something versus 40 women, then yes, more men participate in this than women, but like
Thank you.
they're not
Obvious.
going percentage of men versus percentage of women. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah, I understand. Like if they're saying that more men
statistics can
die in
be
battle, there's more male soldiers, of
right.
course.
Yes, exactly. But if they're saying like 4 times as many men die in battle versus women, okay, but what's the percentage of men versus percentage of women? So you
Right.
have to like take those, like you could skew like statistics wise or analytics wise, you could skew anything to however you want to say it based on how you're saying it. And I know that sounds weird, but like, so let's say like
You have to
400
take a
men.
weighted average or a weighted statistic.
Exactly,
But even
exactly.
but even if you take the numbers and statistics aside, if you look at the Gillette commercial and the message behind it, just for what it is, all it's saying is, don't be an asshole. Just be a good person. And like, why would you get angry at that? There's no
Okay.
there.
No, that's something good, but I'm saying just in general with statistics and and statistical whatever.
Statistical.
Statistical. Yes. It's like you
Testing. One
can
statistical.
manipulate statistics to whatever you want to say, but you're not giving the whole picture there.
Yes,
So
plus in the words of the great Homer Simpson, most statistics are made up. 86% of all people can tell you that.
exactly, there you go.
Basically, I was amazed at how much anger a simple message of let's just be better to each other can generate.
But did you see it? Because I didn't see it yet, and it was
Yeah,
shown to me
I
like,
saw it the
oh, you have
day
to watch this.
I saw it the day it came out because again, a number of social feeds that I still sadly participate in were just filled with people going, basically from both sides. People are screaming, "Oh my God!" Just all it says is people should treat each other better. This is a positive message to people saying, don't tell me how to be and how to act with my kids and my workplace and towards people that I come across on a regular day. I can do whatever I want. Like, yeah, you can, but yeah, you have the right to be an asshole. Great, you can exercise that right, but you're still an asshole. And some of the thing was just like there's sexual harassment and rape at work. Can you not do that? And people are like, well, I don't know about all that. I mean, let me check the Constitution and what it says about that. Like, why do you have to check what the laws are? Don't do those horrible things. It's as simple as that.
Yeah, no, I can totally see like just be a good person.
Yeah,
Period. No. That's my Second Amendment right. I can do X, Y, or Z. It's like,
that's your First Amendment. The Second Amendment is a whole nother thing that I'm not touching the Second Amendment because that is just inviting a whole bunch of shit.
no, exactly. So yes, that's all part of it.
Yeah. And actually, the Second Amendment leads me back to what we were talking about originally.
John Wick.
The gunplay in Anthem is really good. I was very surprised because people criticized it and they said, "Oh, it's not as good as Destiny or some other shooters." I thought the weapon and gunplay in Anthem is fantastic. What is everybody complaining about?
Yeah,
Well, I
that's
don't
bullshit. I
understand
actually agree with you.
It's solid. I don't get it.
What's wrong?
I don't know. They're saying it just doesn't feel as good. I don't understand what that means when people say it doesn't feel as good.
No,
So
it feels fine.
Yeah,
I,
it's accurate. You still have all the things like if you do headshots, you get higher points. If you hit certain enemies, have weaker points. If you hit those, you get higher points. I don't know. I
Well,
think
just
that
aiming or whatever. Um, is Destiny third person? I actually don't remember, and I played it.
no, Destiny's first person.
So that's what I've been. I didn't dig deep enough. I just sort of played it. But is there a way to go first person? Because I actually
No.
prefer that.
No, that's the thing about Anthem, and I can get into that again as some of the problems that I have with the game. Anthem is first person when you're in the city, which I think what is it called, Tarsus? But as soon
yeah.
as you get into the once you're in the Javelin, it goes to third person. So it also becomes a matter of preference. Like me, I kind of like third person more. If the third person is available in a game, I tend to stick to that. Like with PUBG, I'm the same way. And one of the reasons for me is because I feel that when you play first person, you're so limited. Games are at a point where you're so limited to your field of perception in first person that actually takes me more out of the game than third person. I'm so unaware of what's happening around me when I'm playing first person that it seems incredibly artificial to me. Because when you're okay, if you're running down a field of battle with a gun in your hand, you're more aware of sounds and other things that are happening around you at any given time. And games and technology is just not at a point where that's simulated properly in first person. It's not simulated properly in third person either, but the scope of what you can see and absorb is bigger than in first person.
Well, there's a
So
very easy reason for that. You're looking at a monitor that's maybe,
right.
15 to 30 degrees in front of you, unless you have three monitors and you're like up close and it gets close to like 160 degrees of your vision
Yeah,
or
absolutely.
VR or whatever. But so third person, I don't know that helps you, but the answer to that is field of view, where it warps the screen and you actually see out to the sides, but
Yes.
the graphics compress it, right?
Yes, you're
And
right. So
that
as you
helps.
right, as if you add other elements, as you said, as you stack monitors on either side, or if you even go into VR, and as if you have really good headphones, that adds more to your perception of the environment around you. But right now, I'm sitting in my living room and looking at my TV and playing with with a joystick, and there's sometimes I play with headphones and some not. But in general, I still don't like there's plenty of times when I have no idea that an enemy is 2 feet away from me to my right, whereas in the real world you would be completely aware of that happening.
So you're saying your Xbox is just
Limited.
cutting it. It's limited.
Limited.
It's
Well, first of
it's
all,
yeah.
Okay,
headphones
no,
solves
I'll
most of
get
what
into
you're
this.
doing.
I'll get into this with you any day of the week if you want to, but no, actually, okay. So there's an actually all right. There's
No, no,
actually
no.
if I was to name the biggest
Xbox
problem,
$300. That's why you want it.
an Xbox is
PC.
not $300. An Xbox is under $200 at this point.
Okay. You further my argument.
Anyway, you're saying you get what you pay for.
Yeah. Well, no, but still.
I would say I get more than
Wait.
what you pay for.
Hold on. I would say, Jerry, the Xbox still allows you to have a headset, and you can still have a 60-inch TV if you wanted, and you can
hook
sit
up
up.
an you can hook up an Xbox to a monitor if you want.
Yeah, yeah, no
Multiple
kidding.
monitors.
Yeah, so
absolutely.
there's nothing wrong with that. So really, if you set it up right, there's no difference between the two, in my opinion.
It's more has to do with, I guess, with how you can. Okay, so an Xbox is essentially just an underpowered PC. That's all it is. It's running on the same architecture, but it's running, let's say, a completely different version of Windows that does nothing but runs Xbox services. So
Yeah, it's a graphics card with a tiny, processor for the operating system.
right, exactly. So a PC has one of the problems that I was going to bring up with the game was that if you look at some of the early demos that they had before the beta, not the beta, but before the demo where we could actually play, where they were showing stuff, where it was just the studio showing you footage, look at the footage that they showed versus the footage that you can play now. I don't know how it is on the PC, but on the Xbox, it is very different. It was a lot. I mean, that always happens whenever they show game footage before the game is released. It's always a lot more. It's on a whole nother level. It's the environments are a lot better looking. The lighting is better. The particle effects are a whole lot better.
Because they're showing it from a PC rig.
Right.
So like I was dual graphics cards and shit.
Right. So I was going to say, so right now, if you're running this thing on a high-end PC, oh my God, I'm sure this game looks gorgeous. It looks pretty amazing on the Xbox, but I played it for a few hours and then I went back because I wanted to learn more about the lore and the history. And I was watching some of the early demos that they released a few months ago, and I was like, holy shit, this looks like a completely different game. This is insane. Which is, again, what I'm sure you guys are seeing it as you're playing.
Yes. I'm playing an Ultra for everything.
Yeah, the world right now. So when you're playing, like right now, if you're playing on the Xbox, the world, and this was my initial criticism and fear, the world is kind of empty and sort of static and a little dead. Like the only other living things you run into are pretty much the things you're supposed to shoot. There's no like life in the world. There's like the trees aren't like blowing in the wind. There's no like birds flying in the sky or stuff like that. Whereas in the early demos, you can see that like you have these javelins when they touch down, where they like when as they're flying, when they land in the middle of a field, you'll see like they'll land near a bunch of bushes and like things will fly out of the bushes because they're scared of the noise and the sound or whatever. Like you don't have any of that right now in the demo. You may have that
I think
on PC.
that's because you're on an Xbox and not a PC.
Well, are you guys seeing that on the PC? Is the world a lot more alive?
I don't know. Honestly,
I see like bats and like other rodent type, like miscellaneous animals.
Yeah, there's
around. You can
there's none.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you see a little bit of that on the Xbox, and I mean very little. I mean most of when I do free play, when I've been flying around, most of it has been just nothing, like just absolutely nothing. The environments are beautiful, but they're like really nice paintings. I can't do anything with them at all. Same thing with the city, by the way. The city looks really nice, but you can't interact with any of it. And
did you walk around? There's like notes or posters and shit all over the place that it says like add to codex, and that's out of the demo.
There is a few things you can interact with in a city. I'm assuming I don't know if it's different on the Xbox or not, but some of the things that I try to interact with in the city says this is going to be available in the full game, but it's not available in demo.
Yeah.
But overall, the city feels, again, very sort of static and empty. I'm not even sure why you need the city. I really don't understand at all. Like, I feel like all of that can be just filled with cutscenes and you just sort of like picking a couple of characters to talk to. The whole act of walking around the town is pointless. I hate that part. It is just a complete waste of fucking time.
Seems very story specific. So when you're walking around the city, it's very like, I'm just furthering the story. And it's funny because my daughter was watching me and she was like, oh, okay, like this is just story, and when you're actually out in the field, you're fighting stuff that's more dynamic. And so it's funny because that seems like where that's the most dynamic. There's stuff going on, like there's your little squirrels biting whatever or whatnot.
Let me sort of add to Jerry right away. If you think about Mass Effect, like let's say Mass Effect 2, one of the most awesome things about it was that you have like a free world base to go run around and interact with NPCs, and there's like side missions and shit all over the place, and even like a good core 20 to 40 hours worth of interacting with all these people and doing missions and stuff, maybe shops or whatever, and who knows, maybe in Anthem there'll be NPCs furthering the plot. I can hope that they're going for this, and it's a good idea if they do that. But like in Destiny, you kind of like sit in your ship, and like I liked how they had where you had to progress the story through all the different planets, and that was how they delivered the plot. But I like the Mass Effect model of delivering plot where it's open world, but you still have, an array of missions, but like that's still the hub. And then you still fly out and go visit other systems or whatever. So I think like Anthem has some potential. I'm a little curious to see what they do with it. Like if the town, I think the town has value if they tell story and plot and they develop character, like NPC character in there.
I see what you're saying. I think that as it grows, I think you're right. I think the town is going to become more important. And the reason I say that is because there's talk that, okay, so when you look at all the enemies that you have in a game, one of your main opponents is going to be the Dominion, and they're supposed to be located like somewhere north, way of where you are, and that's where they come from. Apparently, they're going to be adding more environments and more maps as the time goes on. So the whole map of this world is going to grow as the DLCs come in, and as time passes, there's going to be new areas and all new environments, and et cetera, et cetera. So I think in that case, you're right. I think it is going to be more like, it's going to be more like Mass Effect than anything like that, where the city is going to become a more important core environment, because the world is going to expand way beyond what it is right now. I think right now it doesn't seem as important, because you waste all this time in this little town, and then you go into basically just a jungle and a couple of caves, and you're like, well, it seems so like such a major part of the game compared to what is relatively a small map, but that's going to expand way beyond what it is right now.
Wait, Skippy, can I say right now? You're like just in red. You look so evil right now.
It's the sun is setting.
You
that's
look
why.
like, no, dude.
That's hilarious.
It's just your fucking face, and you look like so. Dude, you were just like red, and you looked like fucking.
All right,
Star
Jerry,
Wars kind
remember,
of like, I'm going to destroy an entire world kind of red evil.
I will fuck the Anthem into you. Hold on,
You
let me
will.
turn the lights on. Hold on.
Fuck
Wait,
that Anthem.
Jerry, the listeners don't understand anything. And by the way, you're appealing to the audible, the audio listeners, and not the readable listeners.
Oh God, fuck you. Who?
So you would not like
my
the banter
God.
that you just added to the podcast.
So what he's saying is we should release a transcript of this podcast so that people can read it.
Jesus Christ.
So that people can read this stuff line by line and get dumber as they go.
Skippy,
Yes.
what do you do next week?
Oh my God. Okay, so I forget what did you guys finish the entire demo? Oh, did you guys defeat the what is that thing? What's a huge spider called?
Stronghold?
Yeah, but it's called, what is it? The what's the name of the gigantic spider?
I don't remember what is.
No. It's not swarm tyrant.
Yeah.
It's something tyrant.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Holy shit. That took me 5 or 6 times, and my squad kept getting wiped out.
Can I tell
And
you?
you did solo,
I killed
or-
that thing using my ultimate. It was like the last second someone just I don't know. I was dead. Someone fixed me, and then I was like, fuck it, X. And then I hit my ultimate, and I killed the fucking thing. And I was
Wait,
like,
the
yes!
ultimate what is a ranger?
I think I did a my bonus too.
Yeah.
On mine.
Whatever.
Yeah.
Whatever the original.
Well, I actually kind of like. I think your secondary weapons and your ultimate recharges relatively fast in this game, so that's actually good. I tried playing as the ranger, and that's where we finally won. I can't play as the fucking lightning. I hate that character. I know that it's a matter of preference or whatever. I can't play as that fucking thing.
It's game style. It's play style in every game.
I know.
So you're either going to be the tank or like the well-rounded, which is the one you start with, and then either the light, like I ended up playing with the light melee guy, and then yeah, you're right, the quote-unquote mage equivalent, the one that flies around shooting lightning.
I think that with anything except for the ranger and the tank, you need to play with actual like friends that you can communicate with, Because if you're trying to play as the mage or what's the quickest one? The interceptor? Is that
I
what
want to say
I think
infiltrator, interceptor, one of
something like
those.
that. Basically, the one that has the lightest armor but really quick. If you play as either one of those and you're trying to play with a bunch of people that you can't talk to, you're fucked. You're just completely fucked.
You're right, and I had to kind of. So I didn't do in-game voice because I don't bother with that shit. So I would just always make sure I'm trying around somebody. But yeah, I died frequently. But I turned the difficulty to hard because I was like, let me see how hard this really is.
Oh, fuck that.
And if it was actually bad choice, I should have stuck with the ranger. Just a little bit.
It's a lot easier in easy mode.
Hey, SKippy.
You wouldn't expect that. No, I play on normal mode. I'm not trying hard mode. I'm not trying to prove anything or outdo anybody. I just want to progress through the game. And yes, it took me many times. With something like a game like this with missions of this sort of caliber, we got so close to destroying that fucking spider, and then like just as we were about to fucking kill this thing, we lost. And and then you had to restart the entire thing from scratch.
Oh no.
You know what? I'm beginning to think you don't really sympathize with my situation at all.
No, that really would suck.
No, it sucks because we spent these missions are not like 5 or 10 minutes long. You're devoting about 30 or 45 minutes to each one of these quests. And when you lose, you're like, shit, I have to now spend another 30 to 45 minutes doing this from the beginning.
Yeah, no, I understand that.
Yeah. I'm trying to think what else. So besides the city, besides some of the dead parts of the map, I'm not really sure if I have any really major qualms with this game. Overall, I have to say it's okay. As far as the balance, like, what do you guys think about that? I think that more than in Destiny, the enemies that you face, even just the regular grunts, are so much harder. I don't know what the name of the enemy is, but there's one where I'm not one to remember the names of anything, but I think when you're fighting Scars, there's one that is mostly grounded, but then every few seconds he will sort of like rise up into the air and just start rapid firing you.
Yeah.
You have to be careful.
Holy fuck. That thing can kill you in one round. This is one of those games where you're not equally matched with any of the enemies you face. Basically everything and everyone you face, except for the really low level enemies. But if you face anything like from the middle up, they're way more powerful than you. And Jared, do you have to take a shit?
I have to pee.
Okay.
Can we pause for a second?
Yes, we can pause. Yeah, dude, you can just say, "Can we pause? I have to pee." Jesus Christ.
Just mute your mic and go. On the floor.
Oh my God, I think he knocked over some furniture running.
He didn't even mute his mic.
Oh my God. Didn't he pee 32 minutes and 13 seconds ago?
Like 3 times.
That guy. Jesus, how do you put up with him?
Same way you do.
But yeah, I have to say, I can't wait I want to do that free play thing. I want to see that stuff that's happening in game. They had at least 2 different things that happen in game. I'm so pissed off that we're missing it.
We're not missing it. We're wrapping up anyway, right?
Yeah, I don't know if it's still going to be going or not. Did you see what Fortnite did? Every couple of months they do like an indie. Do you know the DJ Marshmello?
I don't know of him, but I heard all about the concert and whatever.
Yeah, they did an in-game. So for the last couple of weeks, people were like, "Hey, it looks like somebody's erecting like a stage or something in the middle of the map," and nobody knew what it was. And then like a few days ago, they're like, "Oh yeah, Marshmello's going to be performing live in the game." That's pretty. I gotta say, their marketing department is fucking killing it.
The thing they did really well, I've come to appreciate, is what you're talking about. They use one fucking map and they interject live dynamic content.
Yeah.
Whereas PUBG is like, here's a new map, serious. Like now it's desert and what, winter and whatever the different maps are. So Fortnite is all interactive and the developers maintain constant dynamic content. That's pretty cool. It's a good angle.
There's almost an augmented reality feel to it. Because remember when they did that whole thing where like things vanished inside the Fortnite map, but then they put them like just in random parts of the world, and people just discovered him. That was so awesome. That was so smart. We're just talking
it really
about
is smart. It is.
We're talking about the things that that Fortnite did.
Oh, I haven't been really up to speed with them.
Okay, so I realized one of the other things that I forgot to mention as far as my issues with the map, and I think I had the same problem with Destiny in any game of this type, and so it might be just a me thing. Okay, so when you're watching the developer demos, right? They seem very structured. They're like, here's like the 3 classes of soldiers that we have, and we have this one guy on the ground, and we have this one guy doing support, and then this other guy's a tank, and here's how they coordinate their attack on this objective. But when you're playing the actual game, there's a lot more chaos and complete lack of organization. And maybe it's just me, but in Anthem, it seems completely just every scenario is just pure fucking chaos. Everybody's just sort of running on the map and doing their own thing, and nobody knows what's happening where. I'm never I'm never just aware of my environment, and I'm never aware of where everything is and what's happening currently. Like sometimes I'll be focusing on an enemy while somehow 5 more get behind me and shoot me in the ass and I'm dead. or like I'm trying to complete an objective and my teammates are about to complete it anyway and I'm just wasting my fucking time. Like, coordinating things in Anthem just seem impossible to me right now.
So as far as I've played personally, it's been private, so I've played solo until like I played one, whatever you want to call it, with Kevin, and that was pretty cool. But the first mission I played solo. The second mission I played with Kevin, and then I played the Stronghold, whatever it was, with whoever they set me up with, and that was a little bit like, okay, I'm just following these people. So now, like me personally, when I play these games, I want to play it with people that I know and I can speak to, rather than some random 12-year-old kid.
Why is it in your scenario they're always 12 years old?
You know, it's funny. So play the hard difficulty,
who they are.
and then your only way to survive is to watch them, because basically so you play normal or easy and you get a whole bunch of noobs or running around in four cardinal directions. But then you play the hard, it sort of weeds out the people that can't survive, and you get people who know what they're doing. And the first time I did it, I became a noob. And there was that one mission where you had to fucking swim in the absolute dark water cavern.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah, but I was like,
that's another thing.
Am I swimming to?
I actually
just
drowned.
Swam to whatever, like my other teammates were. I just swam to them.
Yeah, that was a
I don't know
whole
where
thing.
the fuck I was.
Yes.
There's a couple of underwater levels or camera levels where, yes, I just navigated towards other players because I have my gamma actually set a little higher than it should be, and I still can't see where the fuck I'm going.
I went to go in to find the gamma because I was like, I'm gonna drown in this cavern. And it turns out somebody actually came back for me, and then I follow him out, and it was right around the corner. I was like, you gotta be kidding me. I can't even flashlight. I had to lower the mouse sensitivity because you're kind of like flying underwater.
Right.
And that was challenging.
I have to say,
in the water.
I had no clue what we were doing I was with this one team, and we were with the Stronghold thing, and we were killing the big spider kind of creature thingy thing. I was dead. Someone revived me, and then I was like, oh, look, I have my ultimate. I hit my ultimate, and I killed the fucking thing. So, like, it was kind of like my bonus kind of thing.
Yeah.
Like, I had no clue what I was doing, but I totally my bonused it. So, yeah, I don't know if that's good or bad.
So,
but,
yeah,
I mean,
that's a good spot to wrap it up.
If you won, that's good.
So
I
looks
killed
like we
it.
won.
I was the one that
podcast.
killed it.
Sorry, Kevin. What was that?
I said I think we talked enough about our Anthem, my bonuses.
I can talk about Anthem for another hour. I will just say this. Despite all the issues that I mentioned, I am absolutely buying this game as soon as it comes out. And it's fantastic. They did such a great fucking job. And I know, Kevin, you had an issue with the flight mechanics. I actually love them. I love. Okay, so just the reason they did it, if you look at the history and the lore of the game, the whole point that they're trying to do is that these things are supposed to be as clunky and like hand manufactured as possible. There's no computers or microchips or anything in this world. Everything is like either sort of spiritual slash magical or completely mechanical and like handmade.
Wait,
That's
where
why.
did you get that lore? Because that's
Yeah, I
Uh,
have.
that's my
if you,
first criticism about the game is like where's
okay,
the intro or where's the trailer really doesn't do it justice.
okay, I
I
will
just
answer
want
that.
like background and lore.
So a lot of the background and lore right now you can just find from people on YouTube who have had close contact with developers. You're playing. Don't forget, you're playing this game at level 10. This is where you start. When you buy the actual game, you're starting at level 0 or 1. So all the stuff that you know and are experiencing right now, you're gonna have to build your way up to. So the story and the background is all gonna have to be discovered. By the way, if you don't know, the basic premise of this is that you're on some planet, not Earth, and there are supposed to be human beings, but they didn't come from Earth or whatever. It's like a species that has been alive on this planet from the very beginning, but they're living on a world that back in the day was supposed to be built by these quote unquote gods who are called the Shapers. And you have all this technology that's sort of strewn throughout the world that you're interacting with, and you're trying to find and figure out that they use to shape the world into what it is inside the game. And that's really all you know right now. Besides the fact that you have the Dominion, which is supposed to be a different colony, which is located way north of where you are, and they're trying to take over I guess most of the world. And you represent the faction that's actually trying to find the Shaper technology and shut most of it down. And then you have the Scars, which are an alien invading force, which has nothing to do with either, one of these settlements. They're just a completely different race of aliens that are coming from God knows where to conquer this planet. And then you have the Titans, which are the big creatures. So like that
Yep.
that spider tyrant thing, and those Titans that you saw in one of the missions that can like shoot beams out of their bodies and whatever. They're gigantic.
Well, the
Yeah,
Titans are crazy.
right. So
Yeah.
Titans are actually supposed. So there are some things where like the Titans are supposedly possibly tied into the original gods, and then these aliens, which are called Scars, that also could possibly have some connection to the Shapers that made this world. The point is we don't know a lot of the story yet. And then the anthem is supposed to be the anthem of creation. That was supposed to be like the energy that was used to make and shape this world. So there's still a lot of story and lore that hasn't been revealed. And you're gonna find out some of it when the game comes out. But right now, all you're getting is a small snippet of the game, kind of like as if you were already to a much higher level of it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
because I haven't gotten any of that like Kevin has said. I've been in that, and I've been like, what the fuck I'm shooting at? I'm just like killing stuff here.
Yeah, I keep getting
I
confused. They
haven't
keep
gotten
saying like,
any of
"Oh
that.
no, the Dominion is attacking. Oh no, the Scars are attacking." I'm like, I don't know what the fuck is happening. I'm just shooting at whatever's red.
Yeah, that's kind of what I've been doing. I've just been like the whole like first person.
yeah.
I
I
don't know
want to
what's
know
going
the
on. I'm
background
just like
about them.
killing this stuff.
Like,
The de-
who
the
am
de-
I and why am I here? Like,
Okay,
Yeah.
why does
okay.
this count? What is it?
You
Who gives a
you are supposed to be the freelancer. You are supposed to be a faction that has been working with the humans to shut down these machines that the Shapers left behind. That's all we kind of know so far. And keep in mind, this is just from like the stuff you find on the internet or the stuff you read on the Twitter account or the stuff that you kind of find on YouTube.
game?
None of this has been explained, and
No.
because right, because right now they just want you to get out there and shoot things. That's it. They're just testing the servers and they're
Yeah.
trying to see how the game mechanics work. They don't give a shit what you think of the story so
Don't
far.
get me wrong, the engine is awesome, and like all the gameplay,
Yes,
even my bitching about the flight mechanics.
which I love. I love the flight mechanics. I think they're
Dude, like
perfect.
the flight mechanics to me are like greatest American hero. That's what I feel when I'm flying through this place. I feel like I am the greatest American hero. Like
Yeah.
I'm just flying around and I don't know what the fuck
Yeah.
I'm doing, and I crash and I'm like, yes,
I'm
I
going
am
to
the
dedicate
greatest
10
American
seconds
hero.
to it is absolutely not how a robot would fly, but I enjoy it. It's fun.
Are
No
you the
problem.
guy? Are you the guy yelling at the screen during Iron Man 3?
No.
Well, I mean that. How is
No,
that?
dude,
How is that different from what happens in any of those
It's a
movies?
jet simulator. It even shows you it. Look at
But
the
you,
reticle in front of you when you're flying. It even shows you a center circle and
yeah.
then where you're aiming circle, so that
But
it's like,
but you
um,
basically are a jet. So what's the problem?
no, you're
Skippy,
not a jet.
What do you mean
You're
you're
a
not a jet?
fucking
do
robot.
you
What?
want me to sing the
The
theme to
anthem
Greatest
to the
American
game.
Hero? Because I will.
No, I
It's
really want to
like,
watch that
look
show. I
what
haven't seen.
happened to me.
Which show?
I can't believe it
Uh,
myself. Suddenly
that
I'm
game.
upon
Are
top
you
of the
reading lyrics?
world.
That's not fair.
can you imagine if this was
Should have
if,
been somebody else.
Can you imagine if this was
Believe
an
it or not,
audiobook?
I'm walking on air.
I would
I
not
can't
like
have,
this
could have
audio.
thought I believe it was me.
Oh my god.
Wow.
Flying away
We have to
on
end
a
on
wing
on
on
the
a
singing.
prayer. Who could it be? Believe
that's-
it or not, it's just me. Or at least that's how I remember. Like, the Greatest American Hero was like the fucking greatest
That was a
American
good
hero.
show when I was a kid. I
Thank
watched
you.
it.
Thank you.
Wait,
Right?
I just want to say that was amazing.
No, that's how I feel. I'm like flying around and then I hit a wall and like slam into the ground.
I
I'm
do
like,
have to say, I have
yes,
to say,
I did it.
I love the fact that there's absolutely no consequence, that even flying at 150 miles per hour and you slam into a wall, there's just nothing. The guy just stops.
Oh,
The guy just lands like nothing happened. Like, oops.
Actually, the best way to gain control out of like, wait, this is where I want to fly. Wait, what's happening? Oh, just like cancel flight, and then you just fall.
Yeah.
Same as you hit a wall, and you're like, oh wait, okay, I see where I need to go, and then you fly again.
The only thing annoying about the flight mechanics is that you can't fly straight up. So like if you're like on a ledge next to like a mountain or whatever, you can't go straight up. It takes a little bit of work to fly.
Yeah, you have to
can,
do a
but
curve.
if they don't have anything straight up, then it just gets that like fuzzy thing, and I think that's just like 90% of the time there's nothing straight up.
And here's why. The jets are on your back, so you're going to have to go forward first.
Oh God,
curve up.
Kevin, it's not about
nobody
actual
cares.
physics. Jesus
Yes,
Christ.
There's giant rock monsters that throw laser beams at you. What the fuck, dude?
That's okay. It's a rock monster with laser beams.
Kevin's
But
like,
you're a mech with jets on his
the
back,
physics
not
of
on your hands or and
X-Wires.
feet.
Oh my god.
All right, that's enough, Jerry.
See, what happens is it's when you land in water, it's cold, so the metal would constrict around you, and it would be cold inside that suit, and you would not be able to get a hard on.
Yeah. When the person gets into the mech, I'm like, oh my god, this is like fucking a water suit that you can't get out of.
Yeah. By the way, I love how everybody thinks they're being incredibly creative by making their mechs purple. Every map I play with.
You know
Mine's not
what?
purple.
Just because I made that purple,
Jerry
Exactly.
made a
I
purple
like
mech.
that color. There's nothing wrong with making my mech purple just because I
That's
like
hilarious.
that color.
Yeah,
But
every person's like, I'm not gonna make mine look like Iron Man. I'm gonna be super awesome and creative. Look at this purple.
I'm
It's
gonna
like,
be
oh, Jesus.
Fuck
purple
you, dude.
Teletubby.
I like the color.
All right. Well, as of now, there's less than 3 hours left of the demo. So
I have
as much
like-
as I love you guys,
That's enough.
I'm definitely gonna go back to playing Anthem, because the thing that sucks is that after today, we have almost another month before it actually comes out.
Unless you were like a total tool and pre-ordered it.
No, I'm not gonna Kevin this fucking thing. Are you kidding me?
Well,
No, even I'm not gonna Kevin this thing.
Wait. Okay, so you know what? I was gonna end this, but I'm gonna stop this for 1 second. You fucking pre-ordered Fallout 76, but you won't pre-order this. You got to play this and got to see that it's awesome, and you won't pre-order this. But Fallout 76, you knew nothing about, and yet you plunked down the cash for it before you even got to try it.
I'm
okay,
gonna
so Kevin's not
10%
answering. So
discount.
look, I will answer in his stead. I personally
Everything you said
I'm
is
only
correct.
going to play
Move
it.
on.
No,
if-
wait, Jerry, stop. Hold on. He's admitting he's wrong. Go ahead.
Okay.
No,
Go
I
on.
just said what you said was correct. I
Okay,
pre-ordered,
great.
and
Great,
now
Jerry.
I'm not pre-ordering. Those are facts.
So you should never pre-order, but okay, that's fine. You know what? I'm gonna give this one to you. I'm glad you're not pre-ordering. No one should pre-order any game
But
ever.
you know what? You don't get anything for pre-ordering. Oh wait, you don't get anything for Fallout 76 either.
No, you got to play it a little bit earlier, and with this game, you get to play it for a couple days.
Free!
But again, I will always say that the ability to beta test a game, to pay a company to beta test a game early is ridiculous. If anything, they should be at least giving you some kind of bonus and say, hey, we're going to be putting out a free demo of our game a few days early. If you play it, you get like a free skin or like some gun or whatever for free when the game comes out. That would be great. A lot more people are going to try that. But to say like, hey, you know what? Give us an extra $40 and you're going to get to play this game for 24 hours before anyone else does.
First of all, Mr. Exaggeration Station,
I'll-
there's no
whoa,
extra
whoa.
$40.
Whoa. Careful.
I bought
before
the
you
game
insult
at full
somebody that
value.
has a 17-inch penis. Go on.
Oh my god.
You've
Ripley's
looked at my
Believe It or Not.
penis?
No,
Sorry.
I just paid full value for the game, and the only thing I regret is like within, I don't know, less than a month I could have gotten, I don't know, 10, 15 percent discount.
Hey, Kevin, I want to point out, today you can go out and buy Fallout 76 for $20.
No.
Yes, you can. I will send you the fucking
No,
link to
I've
it.
seen links. No, it's the best it had was half off. So $30, not 20.
I will send you a link where you can buy
No,
20
wrong.
$20
Nope.
$20 or 700,000 rubles.
No, you're wrong. There's special sales that have happened.
Yes.
Not a consistent $20.
Well, I would have to say
So-
you have to be pretty special to pay full price for this game.
And Anthem is any better.
Anthem
Pay
is so
$50
come on,
or
dude.
whatever the fuck it
Come
is.
on, dude. Anthem is so much better than Fallout 76. I know they're not even remotely the same game. But
I
come
am
on.
probably, I don't know because it sucks that I can't tell how many hours I'm in, but it's way over 100 already. And if I play Anthem that much, I'll be amazed.
Okay, but here's the thing. Hold on a second. I am hundreds of hours into mowing my lawn, but I'm not gonna say it's better than playing Anthem.
That has nothing, that is not comparable.
No,
You compare chores, which nobody likes.
I'm a,
no.
I'm a
but here's-
12th level
enjoyable hobby.
lawnmower.
Duh.
You
That
should
has
see what
nothing to do with each other.
I disagree because I opted to pre-order my home, so I had to pay a whole bunch of money in order to, to actually own my house.
No.
So,
you
and
spend
I knew
money
that
on the hobbies to make them easier. You spend money on the money on the chores to make them easier, and money on the hobbies because you want them now or whatever your impulse buying is.
I have to say that watching playthroughs of Fallout 76 makes it seem like it's less fun than trimming my hedges.
Well, that is definitely a personal opinion.
I've had lots of fun trimming my hedges.
I would say I would rather spend
That's
3 hours.
Jerry-scaping.
No. I was gonna say I would rather spend a couple hours trimming my taint than spend 20 minutes playing Fallout 76.
Yeah, but you're gonna do both.
Okay, I am not. Wow, I am not following you on Twitch. All right, guys, we are
Okay,
actually. All right, so part B is going to be basically way over the timer. But no, I'm
that logic.
Yeah,
2
no, I'm
hours
glad.
on a part A, part B.
Yeah, no, but I'm glad because I did want to spend some time on Fallout 76
What?
because I think Fallout 76. I know that 2019 is getting started, but I think I think that Anthem is already one of the best games of 2019, and it's going to take a lot for anybody to contest it. It is. You'd be surprised of all the games that are coming out this year. I think Fallout 76 has a pretty significant advantage over a lot of them. And
Wait, Fallout 76 has a pretty significant advantage?
Shit.
That's just what you said.
I did say.
Wow.
Okay.
It's a Freudian slip is what that's called.
I did say that, and for the sake of record, I'm not going to edit this out. What I meant was,
I'll remember that.
I'm going to leave this. I'm going to leave this in. But what I meant to say was that Anthem has a huge advantage and everything else. But I'm going to leave the other part in so that later people can, whatever, make fun of me for it and be like, oh, okay, you have to send your mattress back. I still say Anthem is going to be. I don't know if it's going to be the best game of 2019, but it's definitely going to be one of the best of 2019. And here's the thing. This is just a demo, and they're already having world and gameplay altering things happening inside the game, which I'm missing.
BioWare is awesome.
BioWare is I think all three of us are going to agree on. BioWare is one of the best game developers out there right now, and I wish them all the luck with this game. I am all in on Anthem. I'm absolutely buying this. I'm not pre-ordering this, but I'm going to get this pretty much day one. Anyway, this is where we're going to wrap up. As we end, I think I'm going to give you guys a chance to, again, say a final message to everybody who's listening out there. Kevin, starting with you. You want to say anything as we wrap this up? This is a huge episode, by the way. The fact that this had a part A and part B is pretty epic. So you better have something incredible to say to everybody who's not listening to this podcast.
I have to pee so much.
Great. Kevin, that was awesome. Jerry, I don't know how you're going to match that.
No. Honestly, I hope that Anthem lives up to everything that it does. We need something that breaks the mold and everything. It's hard to say, but
Okay.
So much pressure. No. Honestly, when it comes down to it, we've been through this 100 times before. Another game where you shoot, collect loot. Yes. Oh wow, I've got loot +1. We need something that really breaks the mold. Honestly, from what I've played with Anthem, it looks spectacular. It's a fun game. I hope that it really lives up to what it does. I hope that the expansions give no.
Wait. Jerry, this is supposed to be a closing statement, not a whole separate podcast on its own. Yeah, this is an episode 5 you're recording.
Anthem is fun. I hope to play more.
Good night, Jerry.
Okay,
Good night.
All right. And I can't possibly compete with either one of those closing statements, so I'm just going to say goodbye. Thank you to everybody who actually took the time to listen to this. And I wonder how many parts of
Hobbs and something or other.
Hobbs and Shaw, yes. I'm very curious how many parts episode 5 is going to have. It might have an A, B, and C. But we'll see. Anyway, everybody stop listening. Go play Anthem. Go pre-order Anthem. Whatever. Do not buy Fallout 76. And we'll see you guys in episode 5. See ya.
Woohoo!
Suddenly I'm up on top of the world. It should have been somebody else. Believe it or not, I'm walking on air. I never thought I could feel so free. Flying away on a wing and a prayer. Who could it be? Believe it or not, it's just me. Just like the light of a new day, it hit me from out of the blue, breaking me out of the spell I was in, making all of my wishes come true. Believe it or not, I'm walking on air. I never thought I could feel so free, flying away on a wing and a prayer. Who could it be?
Believe it or not, it's just me.